Some plants wander through life with no direction, no purpose, just floating and freeloading. But not these guys. Rooted aquarium plants? They put in the work. They settle down, they grow deep, and they actually commit. Which is more than what I can say for some of you heartbreakers. Unlike the floating plants we spoke about last week, which drift through life aimlessly, rooted aquarium plants throw out an anchor and get stuff done. Hello, my name is Holly and welcome to the Nature Pets and Aquariums channel. Today we'll be covering what makes rooted plants different from other aquarium plants, some of the most popular and stunning varieties, how to care for them properly, and how you can propagate them at home to get more free plants. Everyone loves free plants. So what actually makes a plant a rooted plant? Well, unlike floating plants which sit on the top of the water freeloading nutrients, and stem plants which grow upwards and need constant trimming, rooted plants anchor themselves into the substrate and don't move once planted, unless your fish have other plans. They mostly absorb nutrients through their roots, making substrate a very important choice. And they propagate by runners or bulbs, meaning they naturally spread without you needing to replant cuttings all the time. Here are some of the best rooted plants you can add to your tank. Amazon sword, the classic, the legend, the aquarium staple. Big, lush and dramatic, this plant can turn any tank into a mini jungle. It loves a nutrient-rich substrate and will reward you with massive leaves if well fed. Want a plant that makes your aquarium look like a fantasy movie? The tiger lotus has deep red or green broad leaves that make it a total showstopper. It grows from a bulb and can even send up floating lily pads if you let them. It comes in red, green or golden, and there are even varieties that have beautiful colored patterns to them. Vallisneria, or just Val, grows long ribbon-like leaves that sway with the current, and it's perfect if you want a natural river look. When you first plant it, it might take some time to think about things, but once it gets going, it will grow. You've got your crypts. These plants thrive in moderate to high light. They grow from rosettes forming dense clumps of leaves. Crypts can be a bit touchy when moved. Their leaves might melt away, but don't worry, they can bounce back once they adjust. Some varieties, like Crypt Flamingo, even add a stunning bright pink to your tank. Now let's talk about the banana lily. I actually wasn't sure whether to include it in the floating plants video because it can actually grow rooted or grow as a floating plant. As you can see, it got its name by looking like a bunch of bananas. And you can propagate your banana lilies by cutting off the leaf. That leaf itself will then shoot more bananas, weighing it down and eventually sinking to the bottom of the tank, where it will root again and start all over. Whilst we're on the topic of propagation, let me show you how to get free plants. Rooted plants are generally propagated by runners. Plants like Amazon sword and Vallisneria spread by sending out runners and eventually form new plants. Simply trim the new plants from the runner and replant them. Plants such as tiger lotus grow from bulbs. Once a bulb matures and starts to sprout leaves, you can trim it from the main plant and replace it in a new spot. And then division. Some plants like crypts can be propagated by carefully dividing the root ball. Gently separate the plants into smaller sections and replant them individually. And this is how you care for them. Rooted plants thrive with moderate to high light levels. Ensure your tank has a good lighting setup, such as a full spectrum LED light designed for plant growth. Too little light can slow down growth, where too much can lead to algae problems. So keep your light on for about 6 to 8 hours a day. While not all rooted plants require CO2 injection, adding CO2 can significantly boost their growth, especially for more demanding species like Crypt Flamingo. It also helps them in their transition period when you're first planting them and reduces the chance of melting. Rooted plants need nutrients from both the substrate and the water column. Use a nutrient-rich substrate to help feed their roots. For water column feeding, liquid fertilizers that provide essential macro and micronutrients are great. Slow-release root tabs also work wonders for plants that rely on their roots for nutrition. And this is essential if you have inert substrates like gravel. Alright, and that's a wrap on rooted plants. They're steady, reliable, and way more committed than your last relationship. Treat them right and you'll get a tank full of life and free plants. Until next time, keep happily rooting your plants. Keep your root plants happy.